everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Nostalgia Bait. We are talking about Doctor Who, so I'm expecting some fucking banging interactions on today's episode. I'm joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Britton. Hello.
Hello, it is Doctor Who season. We are back, baby.
It's Doctor Who season and Hay Fever season, if you can't tell by the fact that I sound like fucking Squidward. We are talking about season 2 today. We did this last year, where the week before season 1 dropped, we talked about our theories and our thoughts going into it. And then after the series finished, we talked about our sort of full review and episode ranking. And we're going to do the same thing this year, I think. Because there's a lot to talk about. Now, I think we've got 8 episodes again. We'll go through all 8 of the episodes, what we think about them, what our expectations are.
Oh yeah, the titles of them. I read the titles, but I cannot remember.
I mean, as the native Doctor Who man, I can take you through.
As Doctor Who man,
I can take you through what the
Why have I
episode
just typed
titles
Doctor
are.
Who into Google? I'm running with it.
I love it. I love it, man. It's great. So I could talk through the titles, I could talk through the synopses and basically what the episode seems like it's about and what we think about the concept and whether we think it'll be a good episode when we get to it. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, season 1.
I don't think I've seen the synopsis. I think I've only seen the episode.
Well, we can. I think. Yeah, there's not like an official synopsis. I don't think. But I being again Doctor Who man, I've been sat streaming talking about these episodes for months, so I feel like I know enough now to be able to go, this is what this episode is about. What do you think? But yeah, I'll get the titles up. So first of all, the season 1, that came out last year. We talked about that. I've been trying to catch up, and I probably will by the weekend. But I'm currently only halfway through the series. I've only watched. Well, I didn't even rewatch Boom, so that's a lie. I've only watched 3 episodes. I watched Space Baby's Devil's Cord, and I watched 73 Yards. I have watched Boom more recently, so that's why I avoided that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it actually, because I think I came out of season 1 with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth a little bit. Not because I didn't like it, and I think this is something I'm kind of rediscovering now when revisiting it. I actually really like the season. Like, I really like a lot of the episodes. Yeah. It does feel very refreshing and new and exciting. There's just something...
I feel like that's a case of you with a lot of different seasons. I feel like we've had a conversation about a lot of different things where you go, it was okay, and then you rewatch it and it's actually a lot better than I remember.
It's
but then
good,
again,
but there's something that you can't shake about it for me, where it's like...
Yeah.
There needs to be something... It's the whole thing about the sauce again, isn't it? It's like, if I feel like something's missing, it's really hard to, like, remember it fondly. And coming out of the series, like, I enjoyed every episode pretty much to some degree. I think it's definitely a strong season. There were no real duds for me. Like, I didn't even mind Space Babies or Empire of Death. Empire of Death I didn't really mind that much. Like, I see its flaws, and I don't like its flaws, but I do enjoy the episode and the whole, like, Sutek thing. I think that's cool. Space Babies is probably the weakest one for me, but even when I rewatched that, I was like, the episode isn't terrible. It has good stuff in it. Like, the dialogue is good. I just don't like the talking fucking babies, man. It's the only bit I don't like.
It's a mental choice for a...
It's ridiculous for a fucking first episode, and I wish they hadn't done it, but yeah. But I think for me, it's coming out of the season. I didn't feel like anything had happened. But then maybe that's also a thing of me getting older as well. I'm 24 now. I'm not a child now, and I'm not. You're not gonna get that same feeling that you got when watching, like, series 4 at 7 years old. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like this level of excitement. But then I rewatch all the stuff and I'm like, this is really good. But then actually, maybe if this came out now, I'd have the same feeling towards it. It's hard to know. I do think it's competent, and I think Doctor Who fans like myself, have a problem with digesting anything new sometimes, because you constantly compare it to 60 years worth of TV, and it's really hard to get that right, because you're always going to have something to say or something to comment on about that. But for me, I did enjoy the season. I think as an overall, I was left a bit like I didn't really care as much coming out of it, but I enjoyed the episodes all individually, so it's a hard one. Joy to the World I thought was a bit crap.
Joy to the World. So I saw that you posted the clip on Twitter of us talking about the chair in Joy of the World, and I was going to comment on it, but I thought I might as well save it for the podcast episode. It's wild that the only thing remaining to make Joy of the World relevant was a chair in the TARDIS.
Yep.
And they didn't even do that. So Joy of the World is the most irrelevant. Like, it holds no weight at all. Like, all they had to do was put a chair in the TARDIS. Come on. Like, come on.
It's so easy to do. It just adds a bit. It's that whole thing about adding a bit of character. I really like this idea.
It's like continuity, isn't it? It's just like it's a little like not continuity. It's even like the little nod. It's like just a little like just a,
and
like
I
a little nod to be
some
like
of that right. It reminds me of like series 11 with like series with series 11 with Jodie Whittaker, and like she had her like coat repaired by like Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
And Rosa Parks like fixed it up, and I'm like, oh, how cool would it be if like different parts of her costume changed and got like, like there was lots of history in the coat by the end of her run.
Yeah.
And that was the only time that ever happened. And it's the same sort of thing. It's like you want the TARDIS and the Doctor to change and grow naturally. If I was to write a version of the Doctor, I'd write the Doctor as a hoarder. I'd be getting them picking up stuff and just dumping it in the TARDIS, and it'd just be sat on the TARDIS console. So you watch an episode, and then you'd look and go, "Oh, that's the thing from a past episode. Oh, you remember that? Yeah."
That'd be quite a funny episode to do. Is like the companion finds like the Doctor's junk room.
Yeah.
And it's like something of like they're like combing through it, trying to find like the most like the Doctor's trying to find out the most niche thing or something like that.
Remember, like at the end of like the Unicorn and the Wasp, the Agatha Christie episode, and I'm going back a few years here, but like the end of the episode, the Doctor opens up like the floor and pulls out like a chest and is like, that's all of his like I see for Christie, and it's just got loads of stuff. He's got the Carrion Out Ball from series 3. He's got like the book and loads of other stuff in there, loads of tat. And it's like we never see the Doctor pick up stuff and just bring it onto the TARDIS. And that hotel chair would have been great, but again, someone else mentioned as well that Shooty actually mentioned it in the 60th. He walked into the TARDIS that Tennant was using and was like, the one thing you need in this place is a chair.
Yeah. It was just such like it would have been such like a nice little thing
unless
to do.
It comes back, unless it is a thing that comes back. But yeah, it's not super deep. But yeah, Joy of the World it's come and gone, and it wasn't the best Christmas special. And I feel like that definitely left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
However, season 2, I can't lie, I am excited for it, and I wasn't, but I am now.
I feel like Doctor Who's gone through a roller coaster building up to series 2. We've had rumours that Shooty's leaving. There's been rumours that it's being shelved. Like everything has come out in the lead up to this season, to this new series.
It's really hard.
Like,
reshoots.
Like it's like, oh my god,
the reshoots
I am excited for it.
Whatever. Yeah,
I'm excited for it. But I always like the build up to Doctor Who, a new Doctor Who series. I always do get that little bit of like excitement in like the 2 weeks leading up to it.
Yeah,
and it starts to build, and I definitely will watch it like I did last year.
No, I think we have to do it. We're recording podcast episodes.
Yeah,
on it,
it's true.
I think the exciting thing for me about it is that the episodes for me seem stronger than what we got last year to some degree. I mean, I'm more excited. I think there's less that's written by Russell directly. A lot of new exciting writers, a lot of new exciting directors, and just the episode concept seems stronger. Like I know like it's going to follow a similar formula. The first episode is like a very sci-fi one. The second one is like definitely going to be some sort of like god of something with a harbinger again. It's like they are treading similar ground, but I'm interested to see why that is and what they do with it. So we'll go into the episode specifically, and then we can kind of talk about what these are and what it's going to end up being. So the first episode is called The Robot Revolution. It's written by Russell T Davies, directed by Peter Hall. This is...
Are these the red robots that are in the trailer?
Yes. So I think what I've gathered from this story so far is you've got Belinda, who is the new companion. She works as I think a nurse.
Oh my god! Yeah, 'cause you got to introduce a new companion. Completely.
You've got what I've gathered from this episode so far is that when she was a teenager, she had her first little crush, and her first crush paid for one of those things where you can like those cheap bits of paper where you can like name a star, and it's named a star after Belinda. So, but I think the point of this episode is that is actually real, and these robots are from that place that worship this star and worship Belinda as like a queen, kidnap her and take her to this planet where the Doctor is obviously looking for Belinda and then has to go and save her. That seems to be what this is going to be. There's probably going to be some sort of thing, but the rumor is, I think what's been revealed is that they're going to the robots are trying to get Belinda as their queen or whatever, to marry this giant AI machine.
Oh my god.
So we're going to have commentary on AI, which I quite like. It's good.
Yeah.
We're going to have some stuff. But I think conceptually this is good.
Good idea. It's a very clever idea.
I think the naming a star thing and being kidnapped because of that feels very like 2007, 2008 Doctor Who for me a little bit. Like I'm enjoying
those
that.
robots. When I first saw those robots, they really reminded me of. Do you know the Capaldi's River Song Christmas special with the robot that Nardol's in? That's what those reminded me of straight away. I was like, surely not.
Yeah.
Like,
they're very cool.
But yeah, it's a very clever. It's a very good. What do you call it? Concept again.
I'm excited to see what they do with that and whether it works and sticks the landing or not. But for me, it's definitely a stronger concept than talking babies running a ship and bogeyman downstairs. Like, this sounds more interesting to me from a character perspective. I think it's probably a stronger way to start a season. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping we get something really exciting and new and different out of this.
Are we getting nods that? Because I've watched the trailers and I feel like I did see this, but I can't fully remember that we're getting nods that Belinda does look like someone that the Doctor's met before.
Yes.
Are we getting?
So
we are definitely.
Is played by Verada Safer, who was in Boom and played Mundy Flynn.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned, but the casting is intentional around that.
Yeah,
I think,
definitely.
Where it's like they've really loved her performance and they were like, how can we make this work? So they're definitely going to address it. I think that will tie into the finale, and I will talk about that in time because there are rumours that people are a bit up in arms about. I mean, it's Doctor Who, so of course there is. So yeah, I think I think with this episode, it's like it seems like a strong start. I don't expect much from episode 1 of a series because space babies, right? Like I don't always expect it to be that exciting or different, but we've had some good companion introductions, especially from Russell, and I'm interested to see what they do with this. I like the very like retro space age kind of vibe that they're going for. I'm hopeful for this episode because the concept seems so strong. It's not that she's just getting kidnapped by robots, but like there's a fun reason for it. They're trying to marry her off to some sort of AI, so you're going to get some good sort of AI commentary in there. I just like a lot of this. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how that goes. And then, for some reason, the Doctor can't get her home.
Oh, because the TARDIS is freaking out.
Because the whole vibe of the series is like, he's going to be trying to get her home, and everywhere they stop, they're sort of like, well, we can have a look. Because you know what the Doctor's like. It's the same sort of thing. We'll just stop them.
It's going to be something to do with, like, Belinda, for some reason, is registering as inside and outside the TARDIS at the same time or something like that. And
you're going back to Husbands of River Song again, yeah. I think maybe, but also, I mean, you never know. It could be that. But they're able to travel. They're just not able to get back to Earth.
Not to a certain place. Yeah.
They're not able to get back to modern day Earth anyway, because episode 2 is based on Earth. In Miami, in the 19-somethings.
Yeah. Is there an episode this season that's based in like 2007 or something like that? Did I see that somewhere?
In the trailer, they go back to 2007. I don't know what that is going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be like the beginning or the end of an episode where it's not like a massively important thing, but it's just like tagged on. Because none of these episodes that I can see are set in 2007.
Yeah.
Like as a whole.
Yeah.
So the next episode we got is Lux, which is written by Russell T Davies, directed by Amanda Brocci. This looks to be almost, for me, almost too similar to The Devil's Court, but I'm excited for it.
Is this the cartoon one? Yeah.
We've got the big Mr. Ring-a-Ding coming out the big cinema screen and played by Alan Cumming. There was filming going way back to filming location stuff like on the front of the cinema when they were shooting. You had the words Harbinger there, so you know there's some sort of god at play here. They're doing a similar thing to Devil's Court. Now, I don't think there's a bad thing about that. I just think because it's episode 2, new companion, historical, and doing the Harbinger stuff, I think it's maybe slightly too similar, but I don't mind it too much because, like I'm enjoying it, but they do the Harbinger stuff, they do the god stuff. I just feel like we've done that quite a lot in the last season or so.
If they're going to do it again, I'd rather them do it in the first half of the season than the second half of the season.
True, but then if they're doing it in the first half of the season, there's always a chance they could do it in the second half of the season as well. Into the main story. I don't mind it. I think my concern was that it's very similar to The Devil's Court. Now, that obviously is probably intentional. Even the scene that was shown on Jimmy Fallon, I think, is like where they're in the TARDIS and they run to get their costumes on. And I put this on Twitter to some dismay. It's very similar to the shot from the Devil's Court. Not exactly the same, but clearly definitely a homage. I think it's intentional. And I think it's intentional in a way where it's like they are doing it as almost to be like, hey, every season they're going to have a historical and they're going to have one of these cool shots where they run into that door, come out the other door in a new costume, play some like music of the time. So I'm happy with that. That's fine. I just worry that this episode being where it is in the series, second episode in, Harbinger, historical, like I just do worry that it's going to be very, very similar to the Devil's Court, and it's going to just seem a little bit unoriginal. However, I fucking love the Devil's Court, so I'm not complaining. Like, if Lux is anywhere near as good, then fucking amazing. We're also getting like, the animation stuff
because it's I do enjoy the Harbinger stuff because it's different. It's something that we've not had like previously to this generation. We've not had like proper like godly kind of stuff, and I did enjoy all the stuff with Sutek. I did enjoy all the Devil's Court stuff, and even like the Maestro and stuff like. All that kind of stuff I do very much enjoy. So I think if they keep doing it, I'll probably get sick of it, but I'm okay with them doing another episode with Harbinger stuff. I fully understand like it is a bit of an L putting it at episode. There might be a reason it's episode 2, but I do think it's a bit of an L putting it like
there is
the
a rumor.
exact same
There is
order.
a rumor which I will save till after to talk about, but there is a rumor that it's intentional because it's being controlled. Like, the stories are being controlled in a very meta sort of way. Yeah. So we'll talk about that, but yeah. Then we've got episode 3, The Well.
Yeah.
Written by Russell T. Davis and Sharma Angel Walfall and directed by Amanda Brocci. Now, interestingly, we've got a joint writer credit for the only time this season. Yeah. Now, we're not going to spoil what we think is happening here, but we will allude to things that have been rumoured about this episode because it's only fair, because it's what we're going in thinking about. It's rumoured that this will be a sequel to a known, popular, standalone Doctor Who episode from around the early 2000s, let's say. Not to be too specific about it. A standalone one that didn't really need a sequel, but this is rumoured to be a sequel to that. The reason this sort of makes sense, there was a trailer that was released with a bit of dialogue where Ncuti was like, I've been here before, and whenever I was last here, I was terrified, like, to my core, like, all this sort of thing. And we know very little about this episode. This episode is where they're jumping out of the ship, they've got the spacesuits on, they're investigating, they're with a team of armed people, which the Doctor isn't usually chill with, so that's interesting. But also the thing that leans into it being a sequel to an older story is that it's got that co-writing credit. The co-writing credit is only done when you've kind of got enough involvement from the showrunner. It's to Russell's like discretion whether he puts that on. Now it could be because it's like, this, that, or the other. It could be like, oh, I've made some changes, but I'm not going to put my name on. Or it could be I've made enough changes where I want to put my name on. But I think with this, the implication there for me in my mind is that anything to do with it being a sequel to an older episode that was written by Russell, he's wanting to oversee that and make sure that that's right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is this one of the episodes, because I saw an interview recently that Russell was like, if there's any episodes you don't want to have spoiled by social media and stuff,
and episode
this
6
was one of them, wasn't it? Yeah,
episode 3 and episode
6. Yeah.
And I think that's because this is true. There was rumours about what it is, there are leaks about what it is, so obviously stay wary on the internet. There are even, I would even argue, there are hints as to what the episode is a sequel of in the little graphic animation that they showed. There are so many little hints and references that you could probably pull together. Now, I don't know for sure whether there's anything in that, but if it is, what do you think? Like, are you excited about that, or are you worried that they might ruin the original?
I find it very interesting to do a sequel, episode and call it a sequel episode, because, like, to me, a sequel is you have to tie it into what the story was originally, and I know what I've been like. I will have to watch this if it's true, the episode that it's supposed to be. I'm gonna watch this episode anyway in case it is. But
I would, yeah.
I think it's a very interesting thing to do. To do a proper sequel episode to like just the quite a random choice. It's like, it's an interesting way of an interesting thing to do. I think with the way that Russell's trying to go about the new generation with bringing back Sutek and stuff, and trying to not fully lean on older things, but maybe pick out bits that haven't been used as much in the past. I think it's a very clever way of it. And again, you could do sequel episodes. Maybe this, again, sets a precedent of doing sequel episodes.
I like the idea of doing a so-called sequel episode where it's like, it doesn't have to be too connected, but it's a similar monster and planet, and it's a sort of loosely connected. Where it's like...
Yeah.
I think Empire of Death and Legend of Ruby Sunday is loosely connected to, like, Pyramids of Mars, right? Where it's kind of like a sequel, right? And I think you could say this about a lot of different...
Yeah, you could say this about a lot of different monster stories in Doctor Who. You could say, well, this one was in this season, and they came back for this season, and it was referenced about the last time we saw them. So, technically, this is a sequel episode, but for me, it's like... If you're doing this with bigger monsters, like, you could argue that every Dalek episode is a sequel episode. You could argue every Cyberman episode is a sequel episode. You could argue every Master episode is a sequel episode.
I think there's sometimes where it needs to be connected. So for me, like the Dalek one, that I think is the case. I think all the Dalek episodes in Russell's first era are connected and are their own story.
100%.
I think if you look at like the Emperor, then that falls, and then you got the Cult of Skaro, and then they see them again in Series 3. They get narrowed down to one, and then that one Dalek brings back the whole Dalek fleet with Davros in Series 4. It's like, you get this arc. Even in Jodie's era, you get the Dalek on that lands on Earth in Resolution, and then those parts of that Dalek are then used to do something devious in Revolution of the Daleks, and those two are sort of like... Revolution is like a sequel to the first one without being connected as a two-parter. I like it.
They're obviously all sequel episodes, but I think doing this style, picking an episode that hasn't really... Like, an episode that probably hasn't been touched on very much since, if all, either. And doesn't need to be touched. I think it's a different take of doing it, because you could, like I'm saying, you could pick any fucking any like semi-popular monster, pick the Silence, you do a Silence sequel episode, like that kind of stuff. Like, but
I love
picking
it.
something that I think's more niche and picking an episode like, and if this sets a precedent of going back to older episodes from the early 2000s or whatever, and picking those like niche kind of like little things, I'd be down for it if it's done well. And again, a lot of these things, it's like, I'm not too bothered with what the concepts are or what they choose to do, as long as it's done well. Like, I don't want them to start doing this or do sequel episodes to niche episodes and them just be not great. If you're gonna do it, I want it to be thought through. And I think having these co-writers and having Russell attached to it, if it is going to be a sequel episode, I think it's a very good way of going about it.
Because you've got a new writer there. You've got a new writer being like, this is their story, it's their first ever Doctor Who story, this is their opportunity to tell something, but they've got some direction as to where to take it, and they can do completely an original story whilst also being faithful to the original. It's not doing the original again. It's taking the original concept and going, how can we revisit that in a new way? It's like, for me, I see it as like the difference between the first Alien film and the sequel Aliens.
Yeah.
Written and directed by different people, completely different styles, but tells a continuation of the story in a way. Where Alien is like very isolating horror, Aliens is more of an action film, and you've got like Marines, and they're like going through this like alien bit. I said anyway, I got Aliens vibes from this. I do think like having these sort of Marines with guns and all that sort of thing taking over. I think there's a way of doing it where it's like, it's not going to... If it was the same as the original episode in its entirety, in terms of like the setting, in terms of the style, in terms of the twist and whatever, then I would have a problem with that. But this episode doesn't seem anything like the original story, where I'm actually like, fuck it, like let them cook. I'll see what they do. Like, I'd much rather this, like sequel episodes that hark back to stuff I remember from being a kid, than cameos for no fucking reason. Like, Captain Jack randomly rocking up in the middle of Jodie's era.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see random actors rock up. What I do want to see is stuff like this, where it's like, how can we reinvent something that's a popular Doctor Who story, standalone? How can we revisit that planet, that monster, that etc., but in a new way? Can we? And if so, what can we do with that? And that's where I like this, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Then we've got episode 4, Lucky Day, written by Pete McTeague and directed by Peter Hall. And this is the Dr. Light episode.
Oh, is it?
So this is the Ruby-focused episode. I don't think the Doctor and Belinda are going to be in it that much. I think the Doctor is in it, actually, because there seems to be stuff that they've shot This is really interesting. They've shown a lot of stuff in the like, behind-the-scenes reels and new photos recently, where it's got like the Doctor in his sort of outfit from like, the last war in season 1, and Ruby with her like jacket on, but with like the dress from like the beginning of the Devil's Cord. So you're sort of looking at it and going, are they trying to add scenes in here that
Flashback
took place during like in between Space Babies and Devil's Cord? That's cool. I like that.
That's a very cool thing to do.
Because one of the biggest complaints at the time was like, and it's still a valid complaint because I'll still rain this from the rooftops, is that episode 1, Space Babies, they go back on it's still Christmas Day when they go back to Earth, and then they start at the Devil's Cord. The Doctor goes, "What time is it for you, Ruby?" And she's like, "I don't know, June, July. It's hard to keep up." And you're like, those episodes aired on the same fucking day.
Yeah.
Even the viewers didn't get a week in between, so it's hard to like. Whereas if you add stuff to that, it's like, okay, if we give that a reason why that was the case, cool. Yeah, I don't know, but I like the. Yeah, I like the principle of it. The episode looks interesting. It looks like you've got some sort of podcast host, which is really interesting, who seems to be doing like conspiracy theories. There's a lot of like dark unit stuff, which I like. Unit hiding monsters away in like a deep cellar. We've had this referenced as well. We had this reference in the 60th where the Toymaker got put in a box, and you hear Kate Stewart go, "Take this box, bind it in salt, and put it in the vault."
Wow.
What is the vault? Like, we've never seen this. We've never
cool.
heard of it. We've got a new unit building. We've still never seen what the vault is.
Yeah.
And we do see a shot in the trailer of Kate Stewart walking down this long corridor with all these, like, almost like prison cell-like doors, monsters behind them. Our unit hemorrhaging fucking aliens and monsters in these cells. What are they using them for? This is not something that the Doctor would approve of, but we've got some dark unit shit, and I kind of like that a little bit.
It's a very good concept.
The good tie-in as well is Pete McTeague is writing this, who previously wrote Praxius and Kablam.
Yeah.
And will be writing The War Between the Land and the Sea, the upcoming unit spin-off. So I'm down as fuck with him writing this.
Tie-ins?
And doing unit shit, 100%. I guarantee we'll see like a Sea Devil or a Silurian or something in this. Because it's got a tie-in somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I really like it. I like that dark unit shit. I love the idea of them harboring creatures for like testing and stuff in the vaults. Such a great idea. Like, in case of emergency, release this monster.
And then you've got a monster that's on the loose that is obviously some sort of kind of scary creature. What is that? Is that something that unit's locked up and not taken care of and it's escaped? How is Ruby involved?
Something trying to release the monsters, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like she's dating the guy who's got a podcast.
Really?
I think that's what's been
Surprise,
said.
Guys!
Yeah.
We return.
So it's really it's kind of a hard one to work out, but
yeah.
This person who's called Conrad, I believe, he definitely is involved with not only this episode, but definitely something to do with the finale as well. So I'll be keeping a close eye on this fucker in this episode. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know much about it, but I like the idea that it's a Doctor Light thing. The Doctor can't come back to Earth.
Is Ruby working for UNIT?
I think she's helping. She's not like working for them, but I guess like
so he's going to be like, I think that UNIT are harboring monsters underneath, and he's going to be like, Ruby, what do you know? And she's going to be like,
yeah, but I don't even think she'll know. I think it's like one of those like classified things. Do you remember like the Black Archive in UNIT in from the 60s, from the 50th, where they had like a place that wipes your mind when you go in?
Yeah.
Black
Archive is so cool. Yeah,
cool shit like that. But I'm excited. I like UNIT being a bit fucked up, and I think it's a perfect time to do it. You've had a bit of absence of UNIT throughout Jodie's era, and you got it sort of back towards the end. But it'll be exciting to have, like, I don't know. It'll be exciting to kind of do something new with UNIT that's different. UNIT isn't the best. It's not a perfect organization. We've established this by the fact that they're hiring children. Like, they're hiring minors to be fucking basically killed. It's a dangerous job to have. People die at UNIT. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I'm excited for this.
And they're positioned on their tall ass fucking tower in the middle of London.
Exactly, yeah.
Fucking Stark Tower ass energy.
You just look up at it and it's just like burning and on fire, exploding and vortexes and shit, and you're like, oh god, I'm glad I don't fucking work there. But yeah, I'm not really got much more to say about that one. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah, like conceptually, again,
I hope
strong.
I was a massive fan of the Doctor Light episodes in Series 1, so I'm hoping this kind of brings back the vibe. And I think it's a better concept than what we had.
I think 73 yards was strong but confusing. I think
I
this
didn't enjoy
is kind of.
yards.
I liked it, but I think this is different to that, and I think because it's all sort of set on Earth at the same time and not like over the span of like 40 years, like 73 yards was. 73 yards was very like turn left-esque, but not as good as turn left. But yeah,
that'll be the next sequel. Turn right.
Oh my god. I mean, they could very easily do something like that again. Conceptually, it's quite strong. I'm gonna.
It's great to not release the title and just be like, hidden titled episode. I think so. Instantly, you'd know. The title would give it away straight away.
What, turn right?
Yeah, just literally straight up.
Okay, so next episode we got is episode 6? No, 5? Episode 5. The Story and the Engine, written by Inua Elams and directed by McCullough McPherson. This is probably my most anticipated episode of the season. I'm most excited.
Really?
About it. Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yep.
And why may that be?
I love the fact that we're doing something like fucking different and like new.
What is the different?
So this is set, thing? I believe, in Nigeria, and you've got a lot of like the giant like sort of spider god thing that they've got. I know that's exciting for you. Cooper's terrified of spiders, by the way.
I didn't realise this was this episode.
Spider one, the barber shop, and the missing people. I am gassed about this because it's sort of, and I've explained this on streams before, is like Doctor Who tells the story perspectives of very basic things, and we've gone through history and we've done all this sort of stuff, and it's only in recent years where we've got writers from different cultures and different backgrounds who are bustling with stories and ideas and things that you don't get from your average middle-aged white writer, right? So it's I love the fact that we're getting something that is set in Nigeria. That's something that's like completely new setting. Hopefully like educational in certain aspects as well. I compare it to Demons of the Punjab, for example. In my mind,
Demons of Punjab, well, yeah.
Demons of
Punjab was
admittedly didn't know
episode.
Much about that time period
or
what was going on, and you learn a lot through that. And I think that goes back to Doctor Who being educational almost incidentally. Like, it's a good story, but it also educates you a lot on certain things, and that's what I'm excited for this is like a whole new location. It's not set in London or some fucking random planet. We're set somewhere on Earth that we've not really been to before in Doctor Who, that has a lot of culture and rich history. And I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that. And it's the whole thing, all the stuff I've seen with the spider and shit. I'm vibing with. I know you don't like spiders, but I.
This is the thing. This is what I think it's one of the things that holds me back, even in like games and stuff. So I think I'm getting worse.
Really,
especially with like I genuinely think I'm getting worse. Because there's been times in the last year where I've gone to play games and I physically can't play them because it just freaks me out so much. Like, and I will enjoy the episode, but the spider, like, there will always be a part of me that just won't enjoy it because of this big like arachnid. Like, I could just skip the episode, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It just like I can't describe. Like, it just makes my skin. It's the movement more than anything. It's like and even in the trailer, like the shots from the trailer, like seeing them move. It just really, really, really like fucking like.
But it does look like a big robotic spider. If that makes it any easier.
Well, I've been playing Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter has introduced 2 big spider monsters, and I was struggling. Like watching the cutscenes, I was sitting there like Jenny. I was like, I actually can't. Like, it just makes me want to like rip my skin off.
Oh my god!
Like, it's horrible.
Jesus.
I don't want to be this way.
Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, I am excited about this. I think again. Not being written at all by Russell is great, and I'm excited that we're getting 3 episodes in a row that aren't written by Russell at all. And I just don't get me wrong,
I'm excited for all the cultural and all like the night. I'm buzzing that it's going to be in Nigeria and everything like that. I think it's an amazing place to do it, especially having Ncuti playing the Doctor and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. You have to do something like that in a way because. Like, it's the right, it's the right time. It's like, okay, we've got our first main like Black Doctor. I know we've had Jo Martin, of course, who was brilliant. But she was obviously almost secondary to Jodie Whittaker's era. Ncuti Gatwa was the first Black Doctor. what stories can we tell with that?
Yeah.
We've got something new and refreshing, but it needs to go beyond just casting and character.
Yeah.
It needs to be, how can we... I don't know, what stories can we tell with this? Let's get more people of colour behind the Doctor Who writing team, the production team, and the cast. And I think this is a great opportunity for that. And I couldn't be more excited because it feels so new. That's what I'm saying. I think with like Lucky Day, with Lux, with the Robot Revolution, it feels like stuff we've seen before in Doctor Who, and I'm excited for them, sure. But this one feels new and different, and just like a whole new type of Doctor Who story that I'm excited to see.
I'm excited to see how they integrated the Doctor's story as well, like how they give him the information. Like, how does he know about this time? How does he know about what's going on at this time? Like, to see what things they come up with. Like, oh, well, I was friends with this person, or I was here for this, and I was there for that.
Because you have
to
address as well that the Doctor has not always been black, and you have to go and actually go from the perspective of character. This person, this character has been white for most of their life.
Yeah.
So there's interesting aspects of that as well, which I think are hopefully going to be explored in the same way that like it was explored with Jodie a little bit being the first female Doctor. You had like the Witchfinders.
Yeah.
She was sort of pushing her fucking limits and then got trialed as a witch. That wouldn't have happened if she was a man. And that's where you get interesting stuff like that. And that, again, not written by Chris Chibnall, that episode. Interesting. Demons of the Punjab, you had different references to the fact that she was a woman and she was, she was with the girls and not with the boys when they were sort of separated on the wedding night. And it's like, again, they're doing stories that are really playing into, okay, this is a groundbreaking casting for the Doctor. Can we just do something for it that's not just the casting and the character, but do something interesting in the story? And I think that's why I'm most excited about this episode. But then we've got the Interstellar Song Contest, written by Gino Dawson and directed by Ben A. Williams. I am fucking excited about this one tremendously, because
this could be such a good episode.
I think it will. Gino Dawson is a strong writer. So Gino Dawson is someone who's been involved with Doctor Who for a little bit of time. Back in kind of lockdown, Jodie Whittaker kind of Flux era stuff. Bless you, damn. There was a Doctor Who podcast called Doctor Who Redacted. Do you ever remember this?
Yeah, I do.
And I think that was written by Gino Dawson, and it's starring Gino Dawson as well. She was in it, and it was this really great little story. I listened to some of it. I didn't listen to all of it, but from what I've heard from everyone else, it was amazing and brilliant. Gino was then on the original Doctor Who podcast around the time of the 60th specials, before they replaced them with fucking influencers. But Gino Dawson is a groundbreaking decision as a writer here, because not only is she very involved with Doctor Who and knows her stuff, not only is she talented and can write an interesting story, but also it's a groundbreaking thing because I think it's the first trans writer to ever write for Doctor Who, which I think is in itself a very exciting prospect. And again, you know what I'm saying about different people from different backgrounds and different walks of life and different life experiences from different perspectives. You're not going to get... We've had about fucking 60 years of it being done by middle-aged straight white men. That's the fact. Other than Russell, who of course isn't straight, but you get the memo of it's been a very similar view of what the show is, and it's really nice to see such diversity in this writing team this year. But not only that, this is the most expensive episode of Doctor Who ever made.
Really? What, because of all the CG and
don't know. We'll have to wait
set builds and
now that could also just be an inflation thing. That's not adjusted for inflation, so it's very much like that'll happen every now and then. But it's a big episode. You've got Rylan hosting this.
I was going to say Rylan's in this episode. I remember seeing that.
It comes out on the week of Eurovision, so they're really tying everything.
Does
into
it?
That. Yes, yeah.
Wow. Graham Norton will be in it. Imagine.
I'd love. I really wish Graham Norton would have been in it, because Graham Norton's had his fair share of crossovers with Doctor Who before, and that's been really funny. Do you know about this?
That'd be no.
There's kind of infamous that Graham Norton has interrupted 2 separate Doctor Who broadcasts, incidentally. Is when Rose first aired on BBC One in 2005, the very first episode of the revival, they accidentally somehow over the title sequence of the show clipped live voice feed of Graham Norton on a different show talking and laughing, So when on the broadcast, you could hear Graham Norton just laughing that the title sequence music wasn't there.
Oh my god!
And then you skip all the way to 2010, and you get the two-part of Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone.
Yeah,
Matt Smith. The moment where he's got the gun pointing at the sky and he's talking to the Weeping Angel. It's this climactic ending, which when it was airing on BBC, because it was right at the end of the episode, they had this little visual tag which came on screen with a little fun Graham Norton sprite being like, on next on BBC One. So again, I'll see if I can find a photo of this. Hang on.
I'll have to try and find these clips afterwards. That's amazing.
It's so funny, and it's like it's been joked about for years. They've joked about it and they took the piss out of it. It was big news at the time, but it's like
That's
I would have found a lot of fun in Graham Norton being involved with this episode. It would have been a lot of fun to have him involved with this episode, but I can understand that it probably would have been a big ask. That being said, though, I am very excited for this episode. I think this is also one of the ones that Russell said, don't wait, like don't look online when this one's gone out.
Yeah.
So I think that's because this is going to tie into the finale. We have Freddie Fox, who's playing, I believe, the villain of this episode, who has these sort of like it's grungy look and he's got these big horns. Some people are theorizing that he is actually Loki.
Oh my god, if they fucking do Norse mythology, I will
Well, they've done gods and sort of supernatural kind of things.
That would be so good. That would be so good.
And they released a photo of Freddie Fox in Doctor Who where he's kind of like this, I think, grungy kind of dude. Who's got like these horns on top of his head.
I beg. Oh, yes, I did see this photo. I beg. Oh, that would be so good. That would be phenomenal to bring in some Norse mythology for it.
It would be cool. Now, it's only a theory, so I can't speak to the volumes of how accurate that is, but hey, that'd be cool. I think my theory is that this is going to tie directly into the two-part finale. I think it's going to be a little bit like a Utopia situation with like Series 3, where Utopia isn't in the two-part finale technically, but it leads directly in, right? So I think whatever happens here is going to be its own story that will have an almost, fingers crossed, Utopia-style ending, because god damn, that's a good episode.
Bro, imagine if they do like if it is this like Norse, if they try to like do like a Norse like influence. Imagine doing like a Ragnarok or some sort of like that, like doing something like somehow tying Ragnarok into something. I mean that it's similar to like the Time War and stuff like that, isn't it? So
go back to like classic here, and you have the gods of Ragnarok.
Yeah. Because that is all.
The gods of Ragnarok. These like 3 stone. People who were in the greatest show in the galaxy. There was a reference of the threefold deity in the finale of the last season. Could very easily be the gods of Ragnarok. A lot of people were theorizing that at the time. But we don't know.
But then again,
I think the twist here,
finale, isn't
I think the big thing here is not going to be that, but it's actually going to be the reveal of who is Mrs. Flood.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we're going to get more Mrs. Flood stuff.
By the end of
every episode again.
That's what's been said, apparently. She's in every episode. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a bit like Susan Triad last year, where she's sort of just popping up, but more sinister.
Yeah.
Like, she's very aware that she's time travelling or whatever.
Yeah.
Mrs. Flood, I have no idea who the fuck she is. I can't lie to you. I haven't got any theories. And I'm excited about that because I really don't know. She could... I mean, a lot of people are going, oh, the Rani, but... We theorise everyone's the Rani every 5 years with Doctor Who. I think with this, Interstellar Song Contest, we know she's in the crowd for that one. I think at the end of the episode here, she will reveal herself and she will be the big villain of the two-part finale. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it is going to be Utopia style, where it's like, she will appear and the Doctor's going to be like, Mrs. Flood, what the hell are you doing here? All that sort of thing. It's the first time maybe he'll clock it and he'll be like... Yeah, she's someone more than what she makes out. Now, we'll talk about the finale stuff, and then we'll talk about the theories as to what's behind it, because we don't really have much to say about Wishworld or the Reality War.
Both like the names, titles.
Both written by Russell T Davies, both directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillai. Wish World and the Reality War. Hard to know what it is. Know that it's set on Earth, but it's going to be very crazy and sort of. I mean, Reality War screams like multiverse.
Earth
Wish
is in
World
modern day Earth, or Earth is in
modern day. Seems like it.
Modern day. So at some point during this, there has to be some sort of resolution of the Doctor can go back to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something will happen, and the Doctor goes back to Earth. The Wish World thing. You got the Doctor dressed up as in this pinstripe suit on Earth. I think it's going to be a case where the whole population is like reorganized and there's stuff going on. You've got these giant like skeletons walking through the streets, and the Doctor is, I think, going to be sort of cracking on. I reckon he's just got like a full-time job or something, and he's just sort of going about it, and he doesn't know what's happening. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he does, and he's just in control. I don't know. But I'm interested. My thoughts on this, the theory that's going around is that Mrs. Flood or someone is a god of stories. And that will tie into the idea, which a lot of people are not very happy with, and I am very kind of impartial to, because I don't really know how they do this, but if they do it and it works, cool. That this season will be the season where they explore the concept of them being aware that they're in a TV show. Which is kind of crazy and a little bit maybe too far.
Yeah.
However, the reasoning behind this, I think a lot of people are saying, is that you got a lot of shit going on here, but also, how many times has the fourth wall been broken since the beginning of Shitty's era?
Oh, yeah.
And how many times directly by Mrs. Flood?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, multiple. Like, it kind of makes sense, because you have to explain all the fourth wall break, and, like, it has to be some sort of someone being aware. I think it's one of those things where it could be done very, 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 very well, or I think could crash and burn. It's a very such a brave thing to do.
It is. It is.
It's really brave.
I'm not loving it as a concept. However, I also kind of like it. I'm torn. In my mind,
I like it. I like it. My worry with it is that if you do this, you either have to full nosedive into it, and therefore the characters are aware that, or the Doctor's aware that it's a TV show for the foreseeable future, or the end of Reality War, whatever. You have to have some sort of like some sort of basically like mind wipe or something like that, where it kind of all gets
I think it's
back
gonna
to normal.
It will probably be resolved. It will probably go back to normal, because you can't make those big permanent changes. That being said,
imagine if the last episode was live, like Inside Number 9 style.
Oh my god, there's no way they could do that with the CGI budget of Doctor Who, but yeah, that would be cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they do it, what they do, because I don't think they can go ridiculous. They have to go... Whatever they do has to make sense within a story. Like, this isn't like a random bullshit whatever. I don't hate the idea, because I can't see how they do it yet. That scares me, yes, but I'm excited to see how they would do that. And if they do end up going on the route of doing that, then I don't mind. Because in my mind, it's like... And I hate to use Rick and Morty as like a perspective, but... Rick and Morty is a kind of very well written sci-fi show in certain aspects. Not because you have to be fucking IQ or whatever to watch it. I'm not going down that route, but I'm sort of going of that show is meta as fuck. They are very aware that they're in a show. It's not really ever addressed because it's comedy and they can kind of get away with it. But I love a lot of the stuff they do with that, and I would love to see that implied to Doctor Who in some capacity. It's like, why can't they just be going to doing like pit stops? Why can't they randomly go to like a diner on a moon somewhere? Do you know, like, why can't we do weird, wacky space shit like more often in the show? And I see like Rick and Morty, and they go to like a space arcade and it's full of fucking aliens or whatever. Why can't we do that? The Interstellar Song Contest is a bit like that for me, where I'm like, that's kind of cool. They're doing like a big... That could be a Rick and Morty episode, honestly. Like a big intergalactic talent show. Didn't they actually do that?
Big dance number. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Rick and Morty's done it.
And it's like... You can apply certain aspects of it in terms of even like the meta side of it. I feel like you could... You've already been breaking the fourth wall for about a season and a half, and it's only been by the godlike characters.
Yeah.
And well,
Maestro broke the fourth wall,
Maestro did break the fourth wall. I didn't realize it until I rewatched it, and right at the beginning, she looks at the camera.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the Devil's Code, the Doctor breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, I seem to remember that, yeah.
But it's sort of implied that it's kind of like godlike powers and all that sort of thing, like fucking with everything.
The Doctor transcends to godhood. Imagine if the Doctor became the god of stories.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's the thing is, I don't know what they're doing with this, and that's where I'm kind of like, sure. I don't know what Mrs. Flood could be that would be satisfying. But it's a mystery box that they've been building up for 2 years, so it needs to be. It can't be the case of Ruby's mother, where it's like, oh, it's no one. And is it Mrs. Flood? It's like, who is Mrs. Flood? She's Mrs. Flood. Oh. Like, it needs to be someone interesting, otherwise it doesn't work. And I feel like it does need to be someone, probably, who we've seen in the show before. This whole God of Stories thing, I think I'm happy with, makes sense. Mm-hmm. I will go on fucking record. There has not been a single Russell T Davies finale in the 5 seasons he's written where he has used a new character or monster. He has done the Daleks 3 times. He's done the Master and he's done Sutek. He does not do new monsters, original new monsters for a big finale. It always ends up being something we've seen before. Now, we've had gods, we've had tricksters and stuff, and that's fine, that's cool. We can do that. If we're going to see something tying that together, I feel like it would make complete sense. For me, it's a 2-season arc, this show at the minute. Yeah. And we've seen 1 season, but season 2 will tie back into that. It was shot back to back. It's intentional. It's not something where, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm excited for it. I wasn't excited after the back of Joy to the World, and I feel like I came out of season 1 a little bit deflated, and we talked about this in our Christmas review. For me, seeing the trailers and the promotions, seeing the theories and the potential sequel episodes, and I don't know, I am just more excited for this now.
Sequel episodes, we have sequel episodes, we have
less
new
stuff
like new
by
places,
Russell.
Less stuff like new places. We have a completely brand new kind of potential with Interstellar Song Contest. This whole 2-season revolution at a finale. You've got over half a season that's looking to be very, very... You've got a new companion introduction. Like, it's set up to be a lot of different stuff for every episode of the season. So it has potential. I just hope that... It's the finale that's making me a little bit hesitant. I love the idea of them breaking the fourth wall and doing this kind of... But I get what you mean, because if you go into the finale and Mrs. Flood is not nobody, but no one that we know... I think it will feel a little bit deflating, because we've had that before. We could have had him. We're just completely blind. Like, it's just we haven't really had any references to.
I think she'll be some god of something, or she'll be the Rani. Or Romana. I don't know. I feel like the God of Stories thing makes the most sense. We've seen her wearing outfits of all her companions before. We've seen her breaking the fourth wall. We've seen these things. We've got these godlike episodes like Lux and Devil's Code, which are almost too scarily similar to be coincidence.
So you think it's like
I think it
why
ties
they're so
together.
similar?
This is what I was going back to. Is I think it ties everything together.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if that's where they're going with it. I could be completely wrong, but we said this last year when we did our season 1 preview, and I talked about Sutek. Like, we talked about this theories and things, and it ended up being true, and I think it worked, and I enjoyed it. But it's the thing that excites me most about this is, like, I went into season 1 being like, Sutek in the finale would be crazy. That might happen, and that did end up happening. And I went into it with the mindset of, I hope it's Sutek. And I got everything I expected from season 1. Like, it was good, it was enjoyable. There's nothing too out there or crazy moments wise, but it was a good season. This, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It's nice. It is nice to not know, isn't it? Like, to literally have no idea. And it's the potential of some fucking SEO story writing here.
I don't know what they're going to do in the finale. I don't know what they're going to do with episode 7 or episode 8. Usually, every other season, and since I've been a content creator and talked about Doctor Who stuff, every season, I've gone into it being like, I know what's happening here.
Most likely what's going to happen.
I know what's going to happen in the finale. I know not what's going to happen, but I know what the setting is. I know what it's about. This is the first year in a long time where I've come into it and I'm like, I don't actually know. Episode 7, episode 8, I have no idea what they're going to be. Wishworld and the Reality War. I have no fucking idea what it's going to be. what they're going to do with it. Who are these people? What is Wish World? I don't know. I really don't know. But I am very excited, and I guess we will see over the coming weeks. Before we get into Just News, I would like to say I am going to be doing, for most weeks, on my own channel, streaming after the episode has gone live, Saturday mornings. So from about 9 o'clock-ish, when the episode drops at about 8, I'll be jumping on YouTube, talking about my initial thoughts and reactions and feelings towards the episodes, and theorising from there. There will be more content from us in terms of Doctor Who towards the end of the season, but yeah, we'll hope you all enjoy the season. I'm hoping I enjoy it. I hope that it's a step up from season 1. I hope it's exciting and new and refreshing, but you never know. You never know with Doctor Who.
These concepts, going through this with you, makes me more excited than how I felt going into series 1.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know about these episodes, the potential that it's got.
There's more variation for me here.
Yeah.
Dot and Bubble was clever, and 73 Hours was clever, but it very much felt like an absence of, oh, shoot, he isn't able to film here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, there's some really interesting episodes here that could be just fucking great.
Yeah.
Anyway, Just News.
Just News.
So this is a bit of a different Just News.
I'm going to have to step back here because I have no idea what's going on with this Just News.
So I did not put a link in our little spreadsheet tracker for Just News this week. That's because a story is there. And the funny thing was, it's just, we haven't recorded since. And it hasn't been my episode since. So here we are like a month or so on.
Oh my God.
And I want to now talk about this as if it's like happened yesterday. But the energy's not there and I've got fucking hay fever, but we're doing this. So bear with me 1 second.
Huh? Bro's gonna come out and take a wig off and he shaved his head again. That's what's gonna happen here. What?
Okay.
What?
Cooper. This is a bit of a shitpost, by the way. This isn't like a proper Just News, to be honest
What
with
on earth is going on here?
Bro, I've told you. You know, I'm surprised you haven't guessed what this is. So we've run this podcast for like how long now? Like over a year?
Yeah.
What do we brand ourselves on being like movie enthusiasts and TV enthusiasts, gaming enthusiasts?
Yeah.
But the other unique selling point that we have is we're both Geordies, and I would not fucking go by without talking about the fact that we won the Carabao Cup. This had to happen. This had to happen. Face it. This is a story. This is a news story. Might not be very funny, fuckers, but we fucking won the Carabao Cup. And I have the winner's shirt here. We won. Newcastle United won the Carabao Cup. The first domestic trophy in about 70 years. And I am excited by that. You don't follow football. So you don't really give a shit.
I didn't even watch the match.
Do you know how big of a deal this is? I mean, I presume you do now because you've seen like the parade and shit,
Because
right?
I've seen the parade. Fucking, I right I do. Jesus.
300,000 people.
It's mental.
In Newcastle City Centre. Bus parade coming through. Do you get a feeling of that? I just think this is what the Just News story is now. This isn't a story as such, but it is.
This is me being interrogated on why I don't like football.
No, it's like, do you feel that when this happened, like there was any part of you which was like, oh, I kind of wish I did know what was going on? Nah. You know,
Pop off, King.
I respect it.
You go.
Look.
You go.
Look, we don't ever talk about football on here. We're probably not going to do it too much. This is a massive deal. And I want to just say, like, there's a lot of fucking people out there on their little sporting podcasts or whatever who are going like, oh, I can't believe Newcastle are doing a bus parade to celebrate the Carabao Cup. Yeah, Mickey Mouse Cup this, Mickey Mouse Cup that.
People fucking kicked off that they weren't going to do it originally.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, it's
you gutted you couldn't go.
No. I didn't want to go to the parade, man. I didn't want to go to the fucking Town Moor event. I watched the live stream and that was enough cringe for me. I'm happy we won the fucking trophy, and I think the players deserve to get celebrated. I did not intend on being going back up to Newcastle to be on the Town Moor for that. You couldn't drink. They didn't fucking let you drink. It was a family event.
Really?
Nah. So fuck
that.
I
don't know that.
It's people don't like complain because people don't understand what this means. Like, I haven't followed football for most of my life, but I started following it really since I left Newcastle and moved to London. It's sort of a little slice of home for me. And, like, you understand the sentiment of it. Like, my granddad's in his 70s. Like, the last time Newcastle lifted a cup, he was less than 10 years old. Like, he doesn't really remember that in his lifetime. Do you know how, like, massive that is? For people in Newcastle as a culture, how big that'll be for the city, how big that'll be for fucking everything. you just don't give a shit, do you?
I understand it from that sense. Like, I fully get it from it's like, it's amazing for like the old generation who haven't seen it or saw the original one. I just don't have any love for the sport. I own Newcastle tops, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I have them. They're drawn literally behind me. I own Newcastle tops. But I've never really enjoyed the sport.
Yeah.
A lot of my family surrounding me are not massive football fans. Like, my immediate family, mum, dad, sister, none of them are football people. Like, it's just never I've never really been a football kind of. I've had like distant extended family do, but just for me, I've just never really even in school. But this is not me. Like, I'm not trying to slander whatever.
No.
I'm not trying to shit on anyone who enjoys it. Like, it's amazing. Like, I'm so happy for Newcastle fans and for the city of Newcastle because I know it's been rough. Like, the last 5 to 10 years for Newcastle United has been rough. Like, it has been up and down and up and down all the time. And it's nice to finally see them get what they deserve with all the management changes and everything like that. It's amazing. For me, I just don't like. Yeah.
When you saw a parade, though,
don't get me wrong, I couldn't fucking believe the amount of people that were there for the. When I saw the photos and the videos of the streets full, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I went into town on the morning of the parade.
Wow.
Because I had a haircut at 8:30 in the morning, and I was there first thing in the morning. I booked it well in advance, like a month in advance, so it was not with a celebration of mine or anything. There were people in town already. Like, I must have saw at least 100 to 150 people already in town with Newcastle tops on, and that was at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. There's such a following for it, and it's like a new era for us, I think, as a city and as a thing, because Newcastle, you can't deny that Newcastle is a football city. I know from when I was a kid. Yeah,
that
like I've never followed it like growing up, really, in and out. My family have, but I've not really ever been bothered by it. But then, as soon as I started watching it, you get it, because it's like, oh well, there's years of footballisms around you.
Yeah,
chants and players and stuff.
I got stuck in the riots one year when I was younger.
You told me about
in
this.
Central Station,
which
maybe plays into a little bit.
I think you told me that I sort of did play into it.
It probably does play. It probably does. When I was about whatever year old, we would drop my dad off the station because he was at Manchester, and it was the year that Newcastle played. It was the first year Newcastle lost to Sunderland in a derby match for X amount of years, and there was a massive riot at the police station, and it really threw me when I was a kid. And I can't remember what age I was. I can probably find out, but I just don't like. But it's even before that. Well, like that really played nothing into it. Even before that, I wasn't a football fan. I didn't support Newcastle United. Like, it just never was anything for me.
Yeah, I get that, and I think that's fair. I mean,
but again, like,
football hooliganism is fucking awful.
Yeah,
and the
like,
people
I'm not.
who do that are fucking horrible
like,
pricks.
I don't want to take this away from this news story and make it about why I don't like Newcastle United. Like, I don't want that to be the case at all.
This is
like,
our podcast to talk about this stuff, because it's interesting. Because I've got a different relationship with football to a lot of people, and so you don't really give a shit about it. And I think it's interesting because I think something about our podcast is a sort of selling point is that we're both Geordies.
I am proud to be from Newcastle. Like,
no.
Like, a fucking
I'm not questioning
badge.
you.
Especially working away and everything. Like,
you feel
people
more pride,
asking
don't
me
you?
the amount of fucking people. I'm working in Yorkshire at the moment. The amount of fucking people that week after they won the Carabao Cup that said, "Oh my god, you must be over the moon!" Like, because so many people just clocked that straight away. Yeah. Like, honestly. Like, we were filming in, like, big, like, open areas, like, with, like, residents and stuff, and I had about 10 or 15 people ask me, being like, oh, where are you from? I was like, oh, I'm from They were like, are you from Newcastle? I was like, yeah. They're like, you must be over the moon. I was like, yeah, it's been pretty mental in Newcastle for the last week, so...
I mean, that's... the difference there is like I went in the next morning wearing my Newcastle shirt into work. I've got a framed photo of Dan Burn on my desk.
I saw that.
Like, I don't know. It is interesting, and I think it's such a big part of Newcastle culture that every now and then we almost need to touch on it when something good happens like this. Where it's like, I felt like it would have been great if, just timing wise, we'd recorded that with that in mind.
Yeah.
But it happened so long ago now. But it's like, that's literally the first Just News story that I've recorded since we fucking won. Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. It is crazy, and it is such a strange experience. But it's like I've noticed funny things. I've noticed funny things like on streams and stuff since. People have made comments about how I sound more Geordie than usual.
But yeah, it's just.
But why is that? I don't know why that is.
Pride.
It's so interesting, isn't it? When there's a. I actually have, yeah.
Have you?
yeah.
Have you listened to his new album?
I've finally listened to his new album. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
it's on the base. It's I was going to say you can't not own the shirt. You can't own the shirt and not listen to the album.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Oh, dear.
I can't wait to go to Sam Fender at St James's because everyone's going to be wearing that top.
Yeah, man. It'll be great. First thing I did was buy that top. As soon as the fucking full-time whistle went, they put it on Twitter. I was like, I'm buying it.
My grandma's bought one as well.
I love that.
But it's amazing. Like, it's nice for the city and stuff. But I do like. There's probably that kind of wishes, but I just don't have any.
Because for me, it's like I think I look back a few years ago when I didn't really give that much of a shit. It's like I'm glad that I now care about it because I can't believe that. I mean, you know me. You've known me for fucking 11, 12 years? Yeah, plus. Christ, that's scary. You know that, like, I've never been a football guy. Yeah. Never really.
Yeah.
And it's only recent
ever
years.
had a conversation about football.
No.
Ever. It's probably one of the first conversations we had about football.
Probably. But I think it's interesting because, like, when Newcastle last played the Carabao Cup final a couple years ago, when I'd only kind of just started really, really getting into it and knowing the players and understanding the game, I was disappointed that we lost, but I didn't really care as much. And now coming back this year, it's like now I'm so glad that it happened this time round because now I feel so much more attached to it emotionally.
Yeah, that I watched that one. I watched the last one.
Full-time whistle fucking went, and I was like tearing up. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, this is so stupid because a few years ago I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't care. Yeah. Whereas now I'm like, oh my God.
Glory hunter, man.
Fuck off. No, you know what it is? It's since I left home. That's what it is for me. It's
mate, 100%. If I was in this situation
something
and it is 100%. Like, and I get this. I'd love to know the amount of people that travelled home to see that parade. Yeah. Like, it must have been crazy. Even
I didn't because it's sort of like one of those things where it's sort of a bit artificial. And I love the parade, but the parade was very short. It was the big event on the town moor that was supposed to be amazing. I should be calling it a town moor, shouldn't I? I was more. Have you seen these fucking? You probably haven't. But basically, there's the whole thing recently where like the people who are sponsoring Newcastle. Seller or whatever, which is a Saudi Arabian company, they're now like paying like influencers to like promote for Newcastle fans to like go abroad and celebrate in Saudi Arabia. And these adverts these adverts are the funniest fucking things. You know Thog Den, have you heard of him?
Yeah. He
did like an advert with his dad where it's like a really like candid conversation where it's like, God, it's amazing. They've won a cup after 70 years. And the other guy going, yeah. I bet they'll be celebrating on the town moor. And he goes, yeah, I tell you where the celebrations are even bigger though. Saudi Arabia.
I feel like I might have saw that. I saw one similar. Who was it that I saw?
There's a bunch of them. And it's really like overly scripted.
It's bad, that.
It's bad. It's funny, but it's bad.
It's funny. It's very funny.
Yeah. It's we'll not get into that. But I am proud, and I am proud, like, especially having moved away from home, there is a sense of where you get more passionate about that because it's such a big thing at home. I never really was bothered about it at home, but coming away from it, it's a little slice of home. Like I went to see
Yeah.
a Newcastle match in London recently, like the West Ham Stadium, and like that was such an exciting experience. I had to hide the fact that I was a Geordie, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it is. Anyway, I'll stop boring you about football, and I'll stop boring.
No,
our
honestly, I'm not.
But our audience also probably doesn't give a shit, so I'm gonna wrap this up.
I'm not like I
keep
don't
off
want
it.
it to ever come across that I'm trying to like slander or anything. It's just not. It's just not for me.
You just don't want all these angry, furious Geordies coming after you. That's what you don't want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Don't come for me.
We'll get in there eventually, lads. We'll get in there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Nostalgia Bait. We will be back next week with another episode. I don't know what we're talking about next week. But we've got a bunch of
Soul
exciting
Celebration.
stuff. Oh, we've got a bunch of exciting stuff coming up. Talking about Star Wars, of course, coming into the beginning of May. We've got more Doctor Who stuff down the line. Andor's starting soon. There's so much stuff going on. So if you want our opinions
Star
on
Wars
these
season,
things,
mate. Well, it's Doctor Who and Star Wars
Doctor
season.
Who and Star
Mid-Force
Wars
coming up.
season. And Cooper's actually going to watch Andor. Believe it or not.
Crazy. Wild.
I don't believe it. But that's going to happen over the next few weeks, so stay tuned. This is the place to be for all your latest news on film and TV and all that sort of thing. I'm sure in the next Star Wars episode we'll talk about the latest Star Wars announcement, which is Tales of the Underworld. Crazy.
Can't wait.
But yeah, until then, please do check out all of our social medias. You can obviously listen to the podcast on Spotify and give us a hearty 5-star review and a follow over there. You can also watch us on YouTube and give us a subscription and comment below and like and all that sort of usual shit you can do on YouTube. We're also on Amazon podcasts. We're also on Apple podcasts. We're also on Castbox, whatever the fuck that is these days, that you can listen to our podcast on. Thank you so much for watching. Check out our social medias as well. Twitter, Instagram, I've already said that one. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.